Yeah, you saw last year when we brought him in, he brought a different speed and a different talent level that we needed last year. And I think just being with this group for like all of the last part of last year and through this preseason, it's really given the guys a better understanding of, okay, when he goes, we need to be with him. When he moves, we need to fill his space. And you see a lot of guys like working off of him and kind of switching positions like interchangeably, but everyone knows their role. And just knowing that Seb is going to be working his butt off for 90 minutes kind of makes everyone else need to do the same.
Next question, Chris.
Yeah, you guys, no team's ever started this way with 10 goals through two matches. I guess what does that say about the mentality through the offseason and how much, like, how do you guys sort of feel about next year?
Yeah, I mean, we addressed it at the end of last year. I mean, I think we scored 30 something goals last year, and we've had 10 in the first two matches. So it was something that we talked about, that we weren't getting enough numbers in the box. We weren't creating enough high quality chances. And I think most of last year we were still kind of developing the culture and developing the style of play. And now we get to expand on that. Like, we know what we need to do. And now we get to layer things in and focusing on runners in the box, focusing on service from different areas, and varying the way we attack was a big thing, and it's paid off. Is that being picked up by the mics?
Brad, kind of take me through you as a goalkeeper. You kind of get a sense of what your center backs are like, right? Like their
Yeah.
confidence level, aptitude, everything. So a young guy like him, a rookie, a guy whose second professional game, and he's going up against legendary forward like Gonzalo Higuain. What was the confidence and the body language that you were seeing from Kip, and what's it been like through these first two games, just watching him do his job and work on such in his professional infancy, for lack of a better term.
I think Kip's personality is amazing. He kind of just comes in and he doesn't think about that too much. Like, you guys from the outside can say, oh, wow, that's Gonzalo Higuain. He's a high-profile player. And I think Kip just goes into the game and he's like, okay, that's the striker. This is his strengths. This is what he's going to do in this game, and this is how I need to stop it. I don't think he's thinking too much. Afterward, he may be like, okay, I want that guy's jersey because that's freaking cool. But Kip's been able to like come in, put his head down, put the work in, and he's adapted to our style, and he brings a bit of bite. He's pretty aggressive, and we're just kind of getting him to know when he needs to go, when he needs to stay, and he's taking it on extremely well, and he's been doing really well for us.
Next, go there.
Brad, a lot of times last season, you guys had difficulties moving the ball when you're playing from the back, breaking those lines, moving forward. The last two games, you guys have kind of done that at will, and it starts from your position, but really getting to the attacking third has not been as nearly as difficult. What do you attribute that to the most?
We talked about it last year where we needed to vary our attacks more. We needed to be a little bit more pragmatic when we played. I think Josh echoed that sentiment early this week, where it kind of starts from the back with me and my choices of when we need to play out, when we need to play long. And I think we've developed something where we can play out of the back when we can. I think first half you saw that we were playing out of the back a lot to draw Miami out. We get a couple goals, and then all of a sudden they start moving up the field. So that's when we need to switch our mentality to know, okay, they're bringing a little bit more pressure. They're bringing more numbers forward. So now we need to break their numbers a little bit differently. So that's when you start layering in long balls to chest, long ball to Musa, long ball in behind, from the fullbacks going diagonal, winning the second balls. So there's all these little nuances that we've been able to add into our game that we just didn't do last year, whether it was just lack of time, lack of personnel. But we've spent a lot of time, and now we have different ways, and now it's up to the players to go out and execute it on match day.
Is that something you think would have been available to you guys last year, or did it take that time to kind of figure out that first part, how to operate like you guys did in the first half, and then you can weave in maybe other ways?
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, it takes time to learn the system. It takes time to learn the chemistry with the players. And you got to think of each match as a 90-minute chess match. Like, you go into the game, and not everything is going to go according to plan from the get-go. You have to be able to break down the opponent for 90 minutes. So the way we play out of the back is drawing them out. What is that going to do to them cumulatively throughout that 90 minutes? It's going to make their forwards run more. It's going to make their midfielders more expansive. And then if we do snag a goal, all of a sudden they come forward, and then we can ping them in behind. So it's one of those things where our players this year are much better at recognizing what the game needs. And throughout the match, you start to see like different phases of the game and different ways that we play. But it's all by design. We're not just hitting long balls to hit long balls, whatever. We're always trying to find someone in space or someone checking down and that type of stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely been talked about a lot, and the players have responded extremely well.
You talk about all the you talk about like the confidence in the system and all that stuff that's grown year over from year one to year two. Does all of that make you more confident kind of in goal and maybe the defensive unit more confident and kind of better relaxed overall?
Yeah, I was actually talking to Julio a little bit. The goal we concede today is very similar to goals that we conceded last year, where maybe we were playing out of the back just a little bit too much. And in that moment, we needed to release the pressure a little bit. But last year, we didn't have 3 on the board already. We were 0-0, and we were sticking to our guns, and we were trying to battle out a result. So the ability for us to score goals early, the ability for us to continue to score and get forward gives us a little bit more, I wouldn't say like leeway, but it gives us a little bit of breathing room where one mistake isn't going to kill us. And then when we make that mistake and give up the goal, the reaction to go and get another and another, that's what we need. Like, we can't just give up a goal and be like, oh crap, like we gave up a goal, now what? When you give up a goal, it's like, okay, immediately what's our next thought? Go get another and another and another. So just that mentality switch and the chemistry of the guys has been amazing.
How did you guys, like, as the leadership board, like, there were times last year where obviously it looked like guys were questioning the system and questioning whether this is eventually going to pay off. How did you guys in the leadership board sort of kind of reset that mindset into this year that clearly there's a lot of belief there?
I mean, it's frustrating when you're not getting results, when you're not scoring goals, when you lose players to injury. You get frustrated because you see the system working, but you're not getting the result that you should be getting. I mean, think about how many missed opportunities we had last year to get wins or even get a tie. We gave up too much, and I think that just the way we started, being away from home and losing so many guys, like we got into this mental fragility. I think the offseason did wonders for us. We were able to come in, reset, talk to each other, have more time together, get the chemistry going. And I think overall, it just gave us time to like say, hey, this is what we want out of this season. Like, we're not learning anymore. This isn't a club that's learning a system or learning a culture or anything. This is an established club. We know the style of play that we want to do, and now the results have to be there. And just that mentality switch, and the guys that we brought in, like, bought into that right away, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, obviously this is a little bit of a tougher phase of the season you're going into. I mean, you've had the first 2 games at home, and now you're on the road to Portland, and then you win in Seattle. Both really difficult teams. So what's the mentality like heading into that? Because yeah, I mean the team hasn't been behind so far this season. So how do you think its approach is different this year?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna hit different phases of the year. I mean, when we come here in the summer, the heat is gonna play a different role. We're not gonna be able to run as much. The grass isn't gonna move the ball as much. So every game that we have is gonna bring a different set of challenges. But the good thing is we've been to most everywhere, so we kind of know what we're getting into already. A lot of guys last year were just coming to the West or coming into the league, so we weren't quite sure when we went away from home what we were to expect. I think this year everyone has a better understanding of what the environment's going to be like, what the pitch is going to be like when we play, and just the overall mentality of going away from home and getting points. We didn't tie a lot last year, which is something that we even talked about and discussed. Like, when you go on the road, it's very difficult to get points in MLS. If you look at historically what the average points teams get on the road, it's about 1 on the road. So, like, when you go away, it's not that you're going to sit back and do whatever, but you also have to understand that most teams have a home field advantage. So you have to weather that storm and find ways to get points to rack up throughout the season.
I wanted to take the leadership question.
I saw you on the second half calling Juicy. You talked a little bit with him and you point something. The first question is, in what language do you guys spoke? The second one, what do you point on him? And the third one, how do you share that leadership on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I use what very minimal Spanish I have to try and convey messages, but with Seb, he understands English really well. So for him, it's really good because he understands what I'm saying in English and then can relay if it needs to go to someone that doesn't understand English as well. But I think you saw in preseason, we like jumped around the captain's armband, gave guys a chance to come into their leadership role. And I think that's really given us a better understanding on the field where it doesn't matter who wears the captain's armband. Everyone is going to be a leader. Everyone brings something different on the field. Seb is just, through his work effort, through his skill on the ball, it just drives guys to be better. And he doesn't need to be a vocal leader. People can just look at him and be like, okay, he's doing this. This is what I need to be. Whereas Ring, like, he's a vocal leader. He can fire guys up. He can yell at them when it needs to be. But in that moment, I think in second half, it was a corner kick, and I think Maxi Aruzzi was down on the far side of the field. We were just talking because on the corner kick, we were just rearranging bodies because they were throwing extra numbers into the box. We had lost Maxi, who was supposed to be somewhere. So we were just talking about where he needed to be, what we needed to look for if the ball circulated out. And then luckily they went short on that one. So, and Diego did a really good job on that. So.
Any other questions for Brad? All good? Thank you, Brad.
Thanks.